I'm Afton Behn, and I approve this message to shake up Washington.
Uh-oh, an attractive blonde woman who has not chugged the MAGA Flavorade? That is MAGA kryptonite. And I'm sure Fox News is being super cool about this.
And we start tonight in Tennessee, the 7th congressional district there, where that crazy Afton Behn is still trying to dig herself out of this hole. What she really represents, though, is TWL, a typical white liberal.
Ooh, let's play what clip gives off the same energy as that. I'll go first because this immediately popped into my head. Democrat Afton Behn and Republican Matt Van Epps are running in a special election to fill Tennessee's 7th congressional seat, a seat that was vacated earlier this year by Mark Green. And the reason Laura Ingraham is malfunctioning like a fembot is because Mark Green won this district by 20 points and Trump won it by over 22 points in 2024. But after a disastrous year for Trump and his party, this race is super close. And MAGA's panic is evident in the amount of money they are dumping into this election and in the obviously coordinated effort between Fox News and Matt's campaign.
And there is just 1 week until the Tennessee special election in the state's 7th congressional district, where Democrats are pouring in money to support their candidate, Afton Behn. But her social media past is raising eyebrows, including her stance to defund the police. She has since deleted the tweets, but back in 2020, the Democrat wrote, "Good morning, especially to the 54% of Americans that believe burning down a police station is justified," along with, quote, "Where's the proposal that dissolves the Nashville Police Department?"
Of course, she has the old social media post calling to defund the police. And, of course, she supports burning down a police station. That's all. Then there's the convenient at-home abortions.
Groups on the ground will continue to provide training in terms of self-managed abortions.
Now, with her logic, men could get at-home abortions as well.
As birther, as women who can give birth, men and women who can give birth, we could maybe leverage that as collective bargaining.
No wonder she needed to drag Kamala, cackling Kamala, and Crackpot Crockett out to campaign for her. Joining us now, here to discuss, Republican Tennessee congressional candidate Matt Van Epps.
West Point grad Matt Van Epps joins me now. Matt, great to have you on the program. Look, you just heard it and I just read it. Your opponent just gave a litany of reasons why voters should vote against her. But why should people vote for you?
Exact same performative outrage, exact same buzzwords, and the exact same outfit being worn by Matt, because those interviews happened on the same day.
Thank you so much for having me. I think the distinction here is just so clear. My opponent is a crazy left-wing radical. She wants higher taxes, more taxes to fund her socialist agenda. She's been endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America. And it's to fund her agenda that will skyrocket our cost of living. And as these videos have come out from her harassing and bullying ICE and the Tennessee Highway Patrol to attacking working moms, it's just absolutely crazy and ridiculous, and shows a very clear distinction between where she stands and where we stand with America First and supporting families and wanting to fight for faith, family, and freedom. And we back the blue. She promotes transgender surgeries for minors without parental consent and believes that men can get pregnant. It's just absolutely crazy.
What the fuck was that leap, Matt? Those two topics have nothing to do with each other, but that's very on point for an interview on Fox News with a lower third that says Dems can't stop being nutty. Very professional journalism. And look how Matt is trying to differentiate himself from his opponent.
Why should people vote for you?
I'm a Christian, a husband, a father, an America First conservative, and a combat veteran. After West Point, I went on to fly helicopters in the Army, Apaches, and then Chinooks with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. After that, I was a small business leader in Nashville.
Wow, this dude is seriously out of touch and he reeks of desperation. And it is so insulting to Tennessee voters that he thinks he can go on TV and say, I'm a Christian and she supports trans people, and that's going to win him an election. Election day for Tennessee's 7th is coming up on Tuesday, December 2nd. And even if Matt wins this race, it is still a really bad sign for the GOP going into 2026. Which is why Fox News is putting a full court press on Matt's opponent. After Matt's double Fox appearances on Tuesday, Fox welcomed former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday morning so he could share his thoughts on this election.
The most recent polling shows it's like a 2% gap. I want to get your thoughts on why it's so close and what you make of these candidates.
This is not an unusual situation when you have a special election. Usually the party out of power has greater intensity. This has been a wake-up call for Republicans, and I think the Democrats have done the Republicans a favor. They brought Kamala Harris in to campaign. Republicans said, oh my gosh, because this is the election is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I'm shocked that the Democrats would nominate somebody such a radical and towards the socialist wing of the party trying to win a conservative seat here.
McCarthy has been out of Congress for nearly 2 years, but he is still a very effective fundraiser for the Republican Party, and he works closely with current Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's Super PAC, which is why McCarthy was up bright and early Wednesday morning stumping for Republican Matt Van Epps on Fox, because the stakes are really high for Mike Johnson and the Republicans in this election. Their majority is in jeopardy, and Democrats outperforming Republicans in other parts of the country, that's just upping the pressure.
December 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now, we get our next election, our next readout on the atmosphere as 2026 starts to come into focus. So it's a special election in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee, sort of middle Tennessee. What are we talking about here? Well, there's downtown Nashville. There's the suburbs in Williamson County, which is right outside Nashville. And then it kind of sprawls and crawls to the west and to the south to some rural areas. So sort of a mix in this district, a very Republican district. You wouldn't normally talk about this district being at all potentially competitive, except here's what's been happening in recent elections. You know, in New Jersey here, Democratic landslide in the governor's race. But the key was this. Look, Trump had lost this state by 6 points to Kamala Harris last year. New Jersey went up to a 14-point margin in the governor's race there. So the Democrats didn't just win. I think they overperformed relative to last year. Same thing happened in Virginia. Again, it's a blue state to start with. Harris had won this by just under 6 points last year. But again, look at this, up to 15 points here. So two Democratic landslides. It wasn't just Democrats won these states. It's that they won them in landslides. And this comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House so far this year. And in all 4 of them, the Democrats have overperformed relative to 2024. In Florida, 1st District, Republicans won it by 15, but that was down from 37 points last year. In Florida 6, Republicans won by 14, down from a 30-point win. Democrats carried 2 districts here, but they increased their margin relative to 2024. So again, you look at this district, Tennessee 7. Look, Trump won it by 22 points last year. He won it by 15 points in 2020. But if you get this kind of movement, if you get some of that movement you saw in Virginia, some of that movement in New Jersey, this could get into the single digits. This could get potentially interesting.
No matter what happens in Tennessee on Tuesday, this is a win for Democrats, just adding to the momentum Democrats have been building going into 2026. It's going to be quite an interesting year ahead of us, but we are in this together, so make sure you subscribe to Really American. And share this video with someone in your life so we can keep the conversation going. For Really American Media, I'm Corinne Straight. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time.